It is time for your official Mavericks season prediction. Now, this can look however you want. You can say 55-27. You can say first in the West. You can, whatever direction you want to go.
Why are you taking my opinions?
That is not my opinion.
I am leaning towards 55 wins.
Okay.
That'd be 5 better than last year. They probably could have won 51 or 52. Remember the last 2 games
I agree.
They intentionally we're good. We got the 5 seed. There's probably no chance of getting the 4 seed. We can't go to the 6 seed. So I'm leaning towards 55 wins, and in a way I hope I'm wrong because 55 wins will not be the 1 seed. I know that. I'm not sure if 55 wins will be the 2 seed.
Okay, you said you know that.
Well, I think in the history of the Western Conference, 55 wins has never gotten the 1. I think it'd be very rare. Heck, there's a time and place where 50 wins was the 8 seed.
So just 50, I could see that just last year for whatever it's worth, because I'm curious how top-heavy this is going to be. It was 57. The year before, it was 53. So
53 was the best record?
Yep.
I think you're lying.
I'm telling you.
What do you think?
In the West, in just the West, not for the whole NBA, in the West, 53 2 years ago. I think 55 has got a shot, Denver.
Wow. Teams really hate the regular season now, don't they?
Look.
I don't think you're telling the truth.
Okay, you can look it up and fact check me. I am telling the truth. Work. So my point is, I think 55 has got a shot. I know it wouldn't have got it done last year, but you would have been close.
Remember, like that.
There are only 2 teams that finished with 50
I
wins
told
or more.
you, Mike.
And we didn't make the playoffs.
That was dirt, like consistently. Consistently putting up 50 wins.
Yeah.
Every time. It just felt like we're going to get 50, but will we get 54 to get to, second or third?
And last year, 54 would have had you in 4th place. So that just shows like how much it can change from year to year. I was just going to say, I think at 55, you got a shot at number 1.
I guess you do. Honestly, I was like, no way. Because I'm just looking, the year that you beat the Phoenix Suns and destroyed them like by 30 at halftime, they were 64-18 as the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And that was who you beat in the second round there. So I'm going with 55 wins, and I will say that's the 2 or 3 seed.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. I'm going to say Oklahoma City wins the most wins.
Yeah. If the Mavs are 2 or 3 seed, you feel comfortable with that going into the playoffs?
I do.
Okay. Is 3 the last seed you'd probably feel super great about going into the playoffs?
Well, I feel like if you get the 4 or 5 seed, you're just in a stagnant place for most of Luka's career. You did have the one bad year where you didn't make the playoffs, but pretty much you've been the 4 or 5 seed every time in Luka's career. So I want to see them do better. And you mentioned to start the show, Luka seems to, before this season starts,
absolutely
caring about the regular season, which has been something that most NBA teams, and gosh, you just really hit it on the head there with the records.
Yeah.
Teams are like, I don't care. We're going to lose 30 games.
Look, Corey, I want to fall in line on this.
58.
I didn't. Okay, hold on. I want to get to that. I did not do the right thing by the Stars. So because of the urgency of the Mavs regular season, I want to fall in line and say they really need to win tonight.
I like this. I appreciate that. It's
Hold
about
San
time.
Antonio off.
That's right.
You know what? That being said, not that big of a deal.
But you said do you think 58-24?
The Mavs, we kind of know what they're going to do. I'm going to throw 58 wins out this year.
And does that give them the number 1 seed, you think?
Number 1 seed, baby.
Okay. All right. I
think it's going to be funny if Luka's like, this year we're taking it seriously. Then he's pelvic thrusting the ball in before, the game starts, and then seeing how many headers he can make.
Which you can't rule it out.
If he can kick a field goal but right before the game starts.
You think he's going to do that still?
I do. That's just part of his.
I think he's going to do his trick shots. I wonder if he's going to goof around, though.
He's rare in that he can goof off and be ready for a game.
I do wonder, though, because I think Kai has a lot of influence on not just the team, but him also. And I wonder if Kai's going to say, look, it is good to keep it loose, but we can't be silly. Because I had a teacher once tell me, she was like, look, Corey, I know you are smart enough to get this stuff, whatever way. We have other students in the class that really need to be listening. And your smarting off in class is causing them to have problems. Mike, you probably got the same speech, being the goof off guy that you were in class based on what you've told us before.
I was a who's who my senior year.
Okay, all right. 64
in the classroom?
No, they give 4 who's who's. And I barely showed up on time to the assembly because I was like, Mom, I don't have to go to school on time. They're doing some assembly thing. I walk in, and then 5 minutes later, and the who's who for the class of 96, and name 4 people. And I was one of them. I was like, I don't know how in the world I got this, but thank you.
64 was the Celtics last year.
I take your word for it. I do not recall.
That's probably right.
Yeah, let's go 58. Let's go 60.
Well,
what do you think the number will be for the 1 seed? To get the 1 seed, the Mavericks need how many wins, Kevin
56.
Hagelin? And that's your number?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go 53 and 29 is where I think. And I think that grabs you. I'm probably in the same position as you where I think that probably gets you the 2 or 3 seed. I'm going to say 53 and 29, and you win the tiebreak to get the number 2 seed.
Okay.
Because last year is 57, 57, 56.
Yeah, and that's why I think 55 will be in the mix, because the West is loaded, but I think you're going to see a very tightly packed top of the standings.
I can see that.
All right, so Klay did say he's more motivated than ever.
And his dad said he picked the right team.
Because the other guys let him go.
$10,000.
That was Zeke.
Who says he can't run the football.
Do you think he goes, guys, I want 74 wins this year. I want to beat that old Warriors in 2015-16 season.
I would just remind him that team did not win the title, so don't worry about that.
Don't try.
You know what's going to suck for all the kids that grew up big Steph Curry and Golden State Warrior fans? Is 20 years from now, all the people who weren't born then are going to say, there weren't any good teams back then.
Yeah, probably so.
That's how it always works, is that, Gilbert and nobody could do anything against Jordan. They were all, horrible players back then. There was only one good player in the league.
2 things. Okay. 1, do they win the NBA Cup this year? 2, from the 817.
I hope they go.
Is that the in-season tournament?
Out of their 27 losses, I hope all of them are in that in-season crap.
The NBA, or from the Adam in Arlington, just to ensure I'm hearing this correctly, Kevin's saying that the season is over if the Mavs lose tonight. That seems somewhat extreme.
Son of a gun.
Is this an in-season game where they
I do not believe that happens until at least next month. God. There is a lot of positivity.
The new court actually looks pretty cool, though.
On the Frankel and Frankel injury attorney text line from the 972, 60 wins. From the 469, 2 second or third in the West. From the 214, we're getting that number 1 seed, even though the West is loaded. From the 682, I think 55 could take the top seed, but my prediction is 70 wins and a championship. Holy moly.
That person's smoking.
I would be shocked if the Mavericks, and thrilled if the Mavericks won 70 games. From the 214, 55 wins, NBA champions. From the another 214, 60 wins. But what you do see is you see a lot of people hovering in that mid to upper 50 range, and a lot of 1, maybe second or third seeds. So there is a lot of optimism coming in about the Mavs this season.
I mean, they made it to the finals.
Yeah, that's
obviously,
true.
Obviously, people are going to be optimistic.
You know how it goes. That doesn't always track to the next year the way I think it should and you think it should.
Yeah, but this team is definitely the addition of Klay. I mean, look at the excitement that happened whenever he got added to the team. The growth of Derek Lively, PJ, and Gafford being back with this team. A lot of people are just feeling like it should take that next step.
And I know I'm forgetting this. I don't think you guys are going to have it off the top of your head. But those last 20 games where they had the PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford combination along with the other guys on the team, they barely lost. I'm looking right here. Take out the last 2 games where they played Detroit, and that's an easy win if they're actually trying. And then the Golden State game. I'm looking, they lost at Golden State where they had that unfortunate situation where the coach passed away and they had to go back to Golden State.
Their last 20 games, they were 16-4, but like you said, the last 2 games were give-up games. So 16-2 in that final
And I don't
stretch.
expect them to go 16-2 every 18 games this year, but I do think we have to look at when that trade was made, or trades.
Yeah.
And then you got that team together, they were very good. And they only lost to the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. Now, they got hammered by them.
Yes, they
did.
And
I think Boston's way better than every team right now. But I do think in the Western Conference, it's going to be a battle, like you said. But I think that the Mavericks, to me, are a hair of a favorite to win the conference again in the playoffs over Oklahoma City.
From the 8-1-7 number 2 seed with 56 wins, though, as usually happens, you get a little bit of pushback. From the 3-6-0, 43-39. From the 2-1-4, I am smoking right now, and I think 4th place in the West with 45 wins. From the 2-1-4.
I don't believe you.
Sorry, I got 45 wins, and they believe that Kyrie and Klay are washed. Kyrie, I have a tough time with that just because I thought he was really good last year until, obviously, we got to that Celtics series, and then it was pretty bad.
They played the Milwaukee role players the last preseason game here, and Kyrie was awesome.
Yeah.
Now, first quarter, right? And then he didn't really play much in the second half, and I didn't want to watch the second half of all the guys they're going to release. And watching him, I was like, wow. The quickness, the speed, the just leading a team from the point guard position. It was amazing. If you want to say Klay could take a major step backwards this year, he might. We don't know, but he might. Obviously, Golden State feels like he is ready to fall off the cliff.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I was going to ask you bigger picture NBA, so go ahead.
I can't see your thinking, whoever texts that in. Are you watching the league? Are you watching at all what he did in the playoffs? Are you watching at all preseason basketball? Like, when you make a statement like that, are you just saying it just to say it? Because it sounds fun to say?
It's a hot take.
I don't know.
A hot take, but with nothing behind it.
But it's hot.
Fine. I think, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to suck this year.
Hot!
Oh, my
Hot
gosh.
take.
Hot fire!
Based off of what? Because I
strongly
said
Get your oven
disagree
mitts out.
with that. Okay, let me ask you. This is a more serious question. I'm not necessarily talking about like MVP. I don't believe that. I believe he could win Defensive Player of the Year. What do you think Wemby's second year will look like? Because obviously first year he lived up to the hype, which I thought was almost impossible. He was unanimous Rookie of the Year. He finished second for Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of people thought that was not the way that vote should have gone.
I think he wins it this year.
Okay, so
you think he'll finish top 5 in MVP?
Yep.
I don't just
Do you
because
think they make the playoffs?
No.
And you're going to say top 5 in MVP, and they don't even make the playoffs.
They're that much better this year but as a team, they're just missed the playoffs, and he's that good. And they're like, yeah, he gets the consideration because he was that good.
Last year, he was 21 points per game, 10.5 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game.
Bump those assists up a little
to
bit.
go along with 3.5 blocks per game.
The blocks are the key.
Okay.
Like, he's going to keep doing that.
Can he pump up the points and rebounds, or is it more a matter of the stats might stay more or less the same, but we can win 15 more games or whatever you think the specific number is?
The assist won't go up because he has Chris Paul.
I said let's. I was suggesting he should.
Yes.
I do think the points go up because I do think Chris Paul understands who the guy is. I think Robert Horry made a great point yesterday. So I will go to 25 points and 12 rebounds. Now, here's the other thing, too. Man, does Pop want to protect that guy?
Yeah.
Is he going to protect him? Like, for his numbers to go up, I'm assuming a little bit of the leash has been extended on playing Wemby. If you remember last year,
he wants to protect him until his team's ready. Is that kind of what you feel like?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was like a super protection of him last year. It's amazing to me that he averaged that much and did that much with how much he was protected with his minutes. So I think his minutes are going to go up a little bit. His game, like, I think they would just sit him out games where like he's completely healthy. We're just don't want to hurt him at his age. Now, maybe he's still such a young player look, he does have a weird body.
That's
that
true.
is not the body you want to stay like sustainable into your mid to late 30s. But right now, Pop protected him tremendously. Will he give him a few more minutes per game and let him play more games to get these statistics where he wants, the wins where they might be able to get for him to actually be an MVP candidate?
Just wanted to throw out a couple of national predictions. Stephen No with the Sporting News says that the Dallas Mavericks are second seed in the West. Tim McMahon has got them at 50-32. Eric Pincus from the Bleacher Report says 53-29, second or third seed in the West. Sean Powell of NBA.com says third seed in the West. So you do see, as Corey, as you said, understandably so, a lot of positivity from the national scene as well.